Today I'm just gonna be cleaning some and disassembling some simple engine components from the MK3 Supra. I've already cleaned this thermostat housing for a little bit with the sandblaster, but I still got plenty of things to do. I plugged all of these sensor places, so the threads are plugged with a stainless steel plugs, and I grinded them to be flush like this. Now I'm just still gonna grind these for a little bit and then blast these one more time, but I'm still gonna clean these a little bit more for these small residues. Then I'm gonna paint these to look really neat. Also this thermostat housing, same thing. I've plugged already a few places from here, like this one, and from the top, same kind of plugs. And you can buy these plugs that fit to these threads from just ordinary plumbing stores. Those are really simple stuff to buy from there. I think I might have one still for spare somewhere, but anyway. Then I have the idle control valve. I'm gonna disassemble and clean this thoroughly. Then I have the starter motor. I'm gonna clean this very well also and check if there's any clearance issues or anything. Now I already cleaned these sensors out. So this is for the temp gauge on the dashboard. I cleaned this one out already, looks really neat. It's gonna go to this housing. Then here's the temperature sensor for the ECU. Cleaned this one also pretty well. It's gonna go right next to the dashboard water sensor. So, well, I'm gonna just use this kind of engine cleaner. This gets rid of oil and that kind of residues, has no silicone in it. Pretty simple stuff. I'm gonna use that for cleaning, then a simple brush, and then another soap water solution, and just clean them on this thing here. And then once I get everything cleaned, I mean from oil, I'm gonna blast them in this cabin with some gentle sand. The same story with the starter motor. I'm gonna disassemble everything and then blast the parts that are needed. So let's get to the disassembling. So the idle control valve is pretty simple device. I don't know why it has so many spikes in the plug, but basically this is a motor and it lets this needle inside here. It just moves that in and out to free air to escape from here to here, and it operates controlling the idle RPMs and so on. And there's some really simple coolant passing here also regularly in the 7M, but I'm gonna plug these, cut these off and make it look a bit more clean. Then we have these gasket residues. I'm gonna clean all of those also. But let's start by opening these screws and let's see what's under here. So the screws are basic Phillips heads. Just remove those, place them neatly over there, and the top part comes right off like that. And like I said, super simple stuff. It's just a simple stuff. This moves up and down, and there's a small spring here also. It's quite oily from inside, and other than that I don't have any issues with my idle with this car, so I'm supposing that this works. There's a small gasket over here, as you can see, so I might as well replace that gasket and then clean everything. I don't have to touch this piece that much. I'm just gonna clean it with some soapy water and so on. But this is an electric component and it has nothing special in it. So I'm not gonna clean this very thoroughly. But this housing. This I'm gonna clean very well and a bit modify it also. I just noticed that this electrical component, which is the idle control valve itself, the motor, has also 3 screws. So I cannot resist the temptation. I have to open it and see what's inside. All right. So I unscrewed the 3 bolts and now it's time to take the lid off. Difficult to do but with one hand, so I'm going to use my feet. There we go. So what's inside this? A simple motor, like I said. So there's a bearing inside. This is a coil probably. And as we can see, it spins. And here is something else. I have no idea what everything is, but it's rather dirty. So this gasket is still very soft, so I can still use that. I don't need to replace that at all, but I'm gonna just clean this surface around, take these small nuts out from the corners, clean them up, clean everything, and that's it. In case you're wondering why this is a motor, well, and how it moves the shaft over here, this whole package disassembles. It has a bearing on the top, and as we can see, it rotates freely and it feels normal. There's no clearance issues or anything. And when you move this coil, I don't know if this is the coil actually, if this is the coil, but this is an electric motor in its most simple form, and when you move this, the shaft comes out as so. Come on, focus. Hocus pocus, focus. There you go. The shaft comes out. You can rotate this pretty much, and as you can see, there's another bearing here, and this part just slides out like that. There's the coil with the 2 bearings, and this is the shaft. This is how it's disassembled, and this is your 7M, at least GTE idle control valve, and how it works. So this is a seal against this, and it releases air through it whenever the ECU tells it to rev up or rev down the idle. Alright, so everything is now cleaned up very well, as you can maybe see from the video. I'm not entirely sure, but when we get this so clean, it's only time to put this motor inner part on. I put a little bit of lubricant inside here, just a tiny bit, very small amount. Now just rotate this clockwise. Let the shaft move freely, completely in, and once you feel it bottoming out, you know that it's completely here in the right place. So now this assembly is completely cleaned out, fresh, like it's coming from the Toyota factory in the 80s. Now I'm gonna clean this part also, not as thoroughly. I'm just gonna clean this plastic surface and these brass mounts, or these brass nuts here, so that it looks clean also. And then I'm gonna put some grease onto this sealing surface, put the old O-ring there and clamp it in. And when you're clamping this back together, you can see from the bolt pattern that it goes on only one way, so that's the right way. So there's no possibility to put it wrong, because if you try to put it wrong, the holes don't match at all. Good design. Alright, now it's assembled. It's clean as a whistle and assembled with a new seal, and everything is clean from inside. Now I'm just gonna torque these little screws by hand, as so. And now it's cleaned, and I think every time you clean something like this as thoroughly as this, it makes it a bit more reliable in the future. So that's one thing less to worry about after this whole project. Now the next thing, once this is all clean and everything is fine with this, I can just put it aside. The next thing is the housing. And as you can see, I'm just gonna take the camera here. As you can see, this thing is, it's not terrible from the inside, but it's not completely clean either. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put this to my ultrasonic washer, and I'm gonna let it sit there and clean itself for a good 20 minutes, and we'll see after that. So this is my ultrasonic washer. I'll just put the time to 30 minutes and the heat up, and then we can soak this thing inside, like so. Then put the lid on, and now wait. The wash is up. Let's see what we got here. And as you can see, if you can see, it's clean. Just a bit of residue still lying on the bottom there, but it's clean. Yeah, that's ultrasonic washer for you. Now I'm gonna cut these coolant pipes off and clean this also in the blasting cabinet, so we can get the idle control valve fully assembled back again. Alright, now that's done. The pieces. Alright, now that's done. The piece is clean as it can be, and as you can see, the coolant hoses has been taken off. This is completely clean inside and out. Now all that's left to do is connect this, the casing, with the motor. So there you go. And in case you're wondering how this whole system works, this small surface here is the sealing surface that's crucial for the airflow. So when we turn this around, like you can see, as so, this goes like this, and yeah, this thing seals from this surface to that surface, naturally from the other side, but anyway. And now that this is clean all around, I'm just gonna assemble these as they are. And now that's done. Now when I'm assembling this in the final stage, these original Phillips head screws are not the best option to my taste. I prefer always shiny bits, so I'm gonna put these new bolts in and small washers also, like so. And now everything is finished with this part. So that's the idle control valve, cleaned, disassembled in the other direction, naturally, in the other order. Disassembled, then cleaned, and now reassembled and put new seals and so on. So this is ready to be put aside, waiting for the reassembling of these intake manifold stuff. Moving on to next pieces. And the next pieces that I'm gonna clean very well and so on are these. So this is the thermostat housing, or the cover. Still has a bit of residue from the original gasket, a bit dirty inside, but the plugs are in. As you can see, I've plugged this whole thing. I've grinded it very smooth, so it's gonna look real nice on the engine. And then there's this another housing for the thermostat. Now I already cleaned this quite a bit. Now if you have done this part by yourself also, I noticed that my is soldered, this lower tube. So I'm curious if other guys that have disassembled this same section from their engine has noticed that. Is it soldered originally, or is this something that has been done by a previous owner? Anyway, this has also the plug here. I just grinded that area completely smooth. Then there's another plug here, grinded it smooth, grinded this area smooth already. So, and this sealing surface here, and then these two are gonna go together later on the engine. So that's gonna be like that, and that's gonna go on top. So these are gonna function together, and yeah. Now I'm just gonna do a shot blasting to these with a aluminum oxide media and nothing else, just to make these look kind of clean, and then possibly paint them later on, but we'll see. And just like that, it's done. So that area is smooth, everything else is very clean. The two sensor places are still open, so that's for the dash and for the ECU. The water can flow freely. The thermostat housing is rather clean. All the sealing surfaces are clean. The threads are in place and so on. This is also looking really clean. Then there's the other piece, this one. Very clean. Looks really nice. So, everything is ready. Everything is ready for those. And then I can move on to the starter. Let's start by washing the whole damn thing. Alright, the starter is now cleaned, washed. As you can see, it's in rather good condition. Now it's just disassembling, so that's pretty basic stuff to do. I hope that all these screws come off really easy. I'm gonna start with the biggest bolts and move on there. And next thing that you're gonna see is this whole thing disassembled. And here it is. So I'm not gonna explain everything, what everything does, but when you start disassembling this, if you start disassembling this, it's rather easy, it's rather simple. It might look hopeless at the moment, but it's really simple. I mean, it's not gonna go on wrong or anything. So I'm just checking inside of everything and seeing if there's like dirt or burn marks or anything. And like inside here, that's the main channel for the current for the starter. Once this is the connector, this is the hooked up to the relay thing. This is usually it's like a on a spring load like this, floating here. And when you turn the ignition key to starting position, this relay here, this is called a solenoid. This solenoid is gonna pull this thing like this, and then it's gonna connect. Whoops! Drop the spring from that. But anyway, it's gonna connect from this to this, which is your positive terminal from the battery directly to the ground, and that's the most current that your battery is gonna ever face, and that's all gonna go through these surfaces. So I'm gonna naturally clean these and clean everything. There's only one place that is looped, and it's these gears over here. These have a few bearings, like this assembly has a few bearings. All of them are very good, in good condition. Also this one here, very good condition. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of extra lube there, some lubrication for it, but anyway, nothing fancy. And then I'm gonna clean this up. Whoops, everything is dropping today. I'm gonna clean this up very well and paint it, and these bolts also I'm gonna just clean very well. So that's about it. Now I'm just moving on to the assembly, because with this starter motor it's not very complicated, the whole thing. Naturally this also disassembles if you want to get everything done, but I'm just gonna clean everything and possibly blast some parts like this one and paint them. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So in case you're wondering, where are the starter motor, what do you call them? I don't know what they're actually called in English. I can't remember, but they're here. These are the things that wear out from these starter motors. They connect to these. They might be called the brushes or some kind of, I mean, in my language the direct translation would be their coals, but that's obviously not the right answer. But anyway, these need to be kind of pushed out when you drop this in. I've now cleaned everything from there and from this, and everything looks still rather good. The only thing that's a bit questionable is this bearing on the top. I'm wondering if it's supposed to have the seal or the cover on it, but I'm gonna put it like this in, and yeah, now I just gotta find out how I'm supposed to drop this in when those things are still outwards. All right, this is totally a tip from my point of view, how to get this part inside there on pressing all those four thingies outwards at the same time when they need to be released also. So you take out these two Phillips head screws from the bottom, and this cover just comes right out. Now I cleaned this very well. This little hose here is just a breather, and naturally you're gonna get a lot of dust and heat inside of that thing. So now you got this cover out, and now I can just press these with a finger outwards, put this on there, and then just screw the lid on back. But before I do that, I'm gonna clean this very well, because this is looking dirty, and I don't want any of my engine components to look like this. So I'm gonna clean this very well, then I'm gonna put everything back together, and I don't know if I should paint this also. Looks kind of dull, but nah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna paint this, and then I'm gonna paint that. And then once everything is assembled back, I can explain to you how everything in it works. Alright, the starter motor is also assembled. It was pretty easy to get that cover back on. There's no problems with it. I just painted it red. Everything is clean from here. The contact surfaces are clean. The stuff that I use to clean all these is this contact cleaner and this oxide clean and Protect Pro from CRC. Now, how everything works with the starter motor is this is really simple stuff. Once you turn your key, a signal goes forward, goes to the starter relay, and the starter relay releases the voltage that you're looking for to spin this motor. So here's an electric motor, this black thing that I disassembled that had all the stuff in this head. And how to connect that to your flywheel is this thing over here that moves like this. This is spring loaded, and this moves with the solenoid, and the solenoid is controlled with a small connector over here, and the solenoid moves this thing also. So this thing goes here inside, and as you switch your key, this thing presses down like this, pushes that out, and at the same time when this goes in like this whole contact surface that I showed you here, so this contacts to that point, and this is your, like I said, this is from your battery, direct line from your battery, and it grounds over here, and it's just a direct voltage to all the amperage that you can give out from your starter battery to this small motor. And then the gears that you saw, here's the smallest gear, then there's one gear to downsize the torque, and then the final gear. So it's pretty, it was the smallest to the medium and the largest ring that controls how much this spins. So it's downgraded sort of the the RPMs. So this motor, this electric motor, spins much faster than your starter motor. The normal starter motor or the flywheel spinning speed of when cranking the engine is around 300 RPM, and yeah, this possibly spins like 1500, 2000, I don't know, but it spins much faster than the than this thing that spins your flywheel, and that cranks the engine. So now I'm going to disassemble, I'm going to assemble this through to its final form, and then I have all these pieces from today cleaned, maintained, and assembled, ready for the engine. And there it is, fully reassembled starter, the idle control valve, the thermostat housing, and this part, all very clean and a bit modified, some parts, and basically just maintained, checked that they're all right for the engine when I'm starting to reassemble everything. But everything looks really good so far. So this was a nice day, nice project to clean out these parts, and stay tuned. I'm gonna be making a lot more of this kind of material in the future. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.